How do you guys pick the team?
I mean, we're the same, obviously.
Yeah.
So we have, understandably, our cricket system is well developed.
Yes.
You know, if you think about it, from grassroots all the way to veterans.
Yeah.
So there's a pipeline through there, so we're quite lucky. But from a Masters or a Veterans cricket, we have Veteran Cricket Australia.
Yeah.
And
That's
we
VCA.
have VCA.
Yeah.
And then you have your, I'll call it affiliates, which are the states.
Okay.
The only team that is not there is a place called Northern Territory.
Yeah. Darwin.
All the crocodiles.
Yeah.
They're too busy catching crocodiles and not playing cricket. They play a lot of cricket, but they haven't quite got to the veteran status yet. So we have a domestic national competition
Okay.
that we do once a year. And that is where all the states, and I captained South Australia and we won it this year. So South Australia took out the 24, 20 from grassroots all the way to veterans.
Yeah.
So there's a pipeline through there, so we're quite lucky. But from a Masters or a Veterans cricket, we have Veteran Cricket Australia.
Yeah.
And
That's
we
VCA.
have VCA.
Yeah.
And then you have your, I'll call it affiliates, which are the states.
Okay.
The only team that is not there is a place called Northern Territory.
Yeah. Darwin.
All the crocodiles.
Yeah.
They're too busy catching crocodiles and not playing cricket. They play a lot of cricket, but they haven't quite got to the veteran status yet. So we have a domestic national competition
Okay.
that we do once a year. And that is where all the states, and I captained South Australia and we won it this year. So South Australia took out the 24-25 season of our nationals, but that is a great competition because it's the best of the best, and from
And
there
it's a 45 over?
45 overs,
Yeah.
two pools, so
Okay,
one
okay.
pool, the winner of each pool come
Yeah.
together. So we played Queensland, where we are today.
Yeah.
They played in the grand final against South Australia. But besides the point, that is more where it's a bit of a breeding ground. Way to look at the talent that's out there, but not everyone can make them.
Yes.
So we have a nice, collection of players that might not be available, but is still good enough to be up for selection
Yes.
for the international
Tours.
So, look, really good system. It's developing. We're only into our third or fourth year, really.
Yeah.
But veterans cricket in Australia is one of the fastest growing
I see.
in terms of player participation.
Okay.
So talk about girls and
Yeah,
women
yeah.
in cricket. Veterans cricket's bigger than that. So it looks like there's now, so going from the international where we are now to national, there's now competitions within each state
Okay.
that play over 40s.
So in Adelaide,
Adelaide have an over 40s.
competition.
4 teams. Yep, competition.
Yeah.
Not regular,
Yeah.
but enough. Over 50s is far larger in Australia.
Yeah.
40s, naturally, you see it's a little bit harder
It's
for
a harder.
commitment and
Yeah.
things, but it's just started. But Victoria, where Melbourne is,
Yeah.
New South Wales, so we've now got a number of states that actually participate locally within intrastate
Yeah.
that now also do their competitions.
I see.
So it's just starting to build, and they don't do it every weekend necessarily. There'll be times, but so that's our system. So now we've got an intrastate, a state, national, and we've just got selection. So what we do then is we look at who's performed, who's already played, put a list together, and here we are today now with a competition as well as first, which is great.
Fantastic.
Because that's the way, again, that's a nice half step into pipelines, is that we want to see the next talent underneath.
Yeah.
Like every country, some people feel they could be in the first side, and some people are lucky to be in the first side.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice, but that's how we do it.
Yeah.
And that's just the pathway, if I can put it, to VCA or cricket.
Yeah.
Over
And
40s in
VCA,
Australia.
are you guys sort of funded? How do you guys get any funding from Cricket Australia or no?
Now, Cricket Australia support, and not yet even endorse,
Yeah.
but not financially endorse.
Okay.
Is there a time that will come? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. But right now,
They've got their own. Yeah.
VCA, it's
Yeah.
funding, it's self-funding. Where the help comes from is probably economies of scale. We've got a good group now, building group. We get things a bit better than, there's discounts and there's concessions.
Your selection process, then you go about looking at stats. You're looking at sort of fitness. availability, mixture of all of them. Yeah.
Multiple choice. I'll pick D. All of the above.
All of the above.
Look,
Yeah.
it really is all of the above.
Yeah.
Stats come into it, like
Yeah.
capability and skill obviously comes into
Yeah.
it. I'm on the end of 40, like I'm closer to 50
Yeah.
than 40. So age comes into it
Age
too.
comes in.
But that fitness and all of those things come into it. But with this Australia A concept, or this A concept, it's just allowed a broader
A feeder, sort of a feeder, yeah.
and a broader group to go, hey, even if you feel you're not might be capable, are you still capable to play in an A series? Or if you're just starting, A series is a good lead into the number one side. So we look at all of those things. The National Carnival is a really important one
And
because
when is that?
we have
Yeah.
that in different times,
Different
mainly
times.
November. Adelaide, South Australia is holding the next one, but it's in 2026 February. So we actually won't have one
This year.
because we'll do it after Pakistan.
Yeah.
But even that is a really good platform. Most people are well attended. Most people are there, and that's where you get to see all the talent.
Yeah.
So, and there's always new people hitting 40 for the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
time.
yeah. New guys coming in.
You guys, because availability is what, and we're in a, Andy, we're in an age demographic
Yeah.
that is
Got kids and
kids, financial pressures. There's things that are different. Just to come along is not as easy.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's all of the above. To answer it, it's all of the above. There's a consistent group that I think play in the A's, but there's always that other group that are moving through, that are younger, and is
right.
more skillful.
Just turning 40. Yeah.
As
Yeah.
we look at 50 coming and approaching us quickly, it's harder to keep going. But that's our process,
Yeah.
and we have a national carnival, so we can look at that. It's really quite good. If it was me, speaking not out of turn, but I think the process potentially needs to be, if you don't play in our national carnival,
Oh yeah.
you can't get
You
selected.
can't get selected.
Right now, it's not that way, because some people can't get there,
Yeah.
and they're good enough to play. But I think you have to honour that process a bit.
Yeah.
That's just me talking maybe out of school, that I think eventually you have to
Yeah.
honour the process of make the national carnival, and that's your selection criteria.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people invest in that national
And that
carnival,
national carnival. Yeah.
where we have to travel, we have to do all those things. I think that's fair. Anyway, that's my perspective.
So then next year in 2026 it's going to be in your state.
Adelaide.
You guys are hosting it.
Mm.
Hey, where are you guys playing? What?
Adelaide's a small place,
Small,
so
okay.
we've got lots of great
You got
grounds.
lots of grounds.
Yeah, lots of grounds.
So how
and,
many teams will? It's
So-
the best of the best
Uh,
from each state would come over.
Yes, so they
Oh.
represent their state.
Okay.
So we don't have, so Queensland,
And
so the home state has put in 2 teams each year in the first division, because we have 2 divisions. I'll just explain. We have 2
Yeah.
divisions in this national competition.
yeah.
You have a first division and a second division, like Australia and Australia A, or US and USA.
Okay.
We have that nationally.
Okay.
So it'd be like first and second.
Yeah. First and second team. Yeah.
The first team in the home state sometimes gets offered to have 2 in the first division, because it's
Oh,
local, 'cause you
local.
get more numbers,
Yeah.
and then you also get a third or a secondary
Second
team
grade. Second
in the second
in the
division.
other group. Okay.
So, which is great because more numbers. So the best of the best of your state under their selection criteria. So what we do for Australia is the same you do for your state.
Yeah.
You pick your best team, bring 13 across, and survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
Over 4 days. So that's what we've done over the last few years. And yeah, so we're in Queensland at the moment. They'll bring their best Queensland side that's available. We brought our best South Australian side over and won
Yeah.
in Div 2.
Yeah.
So, because it was their home side,
And you won. And Adelaide,
South Australia.
South Australia won.
Yep. Against Queensland,
And it was 45 over.
45 over. And it's the first time we've won it. And Queensland have now lost the 3 grand finals in a row. Don't tell Justin Paul that, he doesn't want to know about it. New South Wales, a very strong side, have won it the other 2 years. So it's good to knock off.
The.
There's always something about, little old Adelaide. We punch above our weight, South Australia. So, and it was good.
And what about Victoria?
good talent.
Is it Victoria any good?
This was their first year, second year in the tournament. They didn't play the very first year, but they're very strong. we've actually got a couple of representatives from Victoria, home of the MCG.
Yeah. Did they play at the MCG? No.
No. Not for the veterans.
Not for the veterans, yeah.
But they've got a great, but they're very good. We've got a number of good players, Victoria. So, really good spread of talent. Like, it's not concentrated in area. It's been really good.
And so a lot of these players then played for 20 years ago.
Yeah.
State level? What's their
state level? State level.
And they've sort of just kept in shape. They've played.
Yeah. I mean, some at their young age represented Australia in the under-19s.
Under-19s?
You know, like the Justin Pools, who's in the A's. You know, there's a lot of guys. Mark Cleary, who plays in our Australia T20, he played for Australia A in a team. So Andrew Downton, Tasmanian, big left arm, burly left armer. He was in some, fringe Australian sides. Played for Tasmania. He's well decorated, left arm quick, mad quick bowler.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of quality. You look at their history, lots of quality, highly representative cricketers. And it's wonderful, Andy. They love the game still. They're still playing.
They're still playing.
They might not be as fit and agile, but
they're still.
The mind is very good still. Yeah. With all the cricketers, aren't they? Their mind is still very good. So they're it's a good group. Like most things, you come together, you try and connect, and it's a good serious comp. That's what I like. I think it's a good challenge. It's not just have a beer. Have a beer after the game, but they'll be all looking after themselves. They'll be ready. It's a grueling.
It's a grueling
grueling
competition.
2 weeks. Like me personally.
So this summer, you're just sort of concluding your cricket season.
Just finished as of today. All the clubs around Australia will be pretty much finished today.
So you're part of a club as well.
Yes.
And so tell me about that. That's a club, private club. How does that work?
Yeah, it's an incorporated club within the association. So every state has their top premier or governing body association. So there's Queensland Cricket. There's New South Wales Cricket. Victoria Cricket, South Australia, so SACA. So I'm a board member of South Australian Cricket Association. We just won the Sheffield Shield, the highest state competition. We just won that against Queensland. And then there's the WACA, Western Australian Cricket Association. And there's NT Cricket. And then there's ACT Cricket, which is the Capital Territory. So all of these have governing bodies that are the key body in their state for cricket. So I'm part of a group called Kensington District Cricket Club. So Don Bradman. That was his club.
That was his club.
So we are in SACA's Premier Cricket, so top level state competition cricket. Then there's regional, then there's sub-districts and turf cricket around Australia. Premier Cricket is that so? We're the Browns, so I'm a passionate Browns man. So we have juniors, women, men.
All in the same club?
All in the same club.
I see.
And that's how...
And you have your own ground?
Yes. So we've got multiple grounds.
You've got multiple grounds. And you have to be a member, sort of a member of that club.
Financial member.
Financial member.
You can be an oval member. Things like that. And every high Premier Cricket club would be like that, I would say. Not all of them have juniors. Some associations are different. They have juniors in more community cricket. They don't have it as part of your Premier club. But a lot of the time they've got feeder groups in there. To play in your first, second, third, fourth grade is the common amount, 4 grades. There's maybe some that have a little bit more than that, but with the bigger groups like New South Wales, but that's an important structure pipeline. And then if you don't want to play that high level, then you can go to sub-district, where it's a little bit still serious enough. Then you can go even further down
and then so this club that the competition that you guys just won, that's the Sheffield. That's a 4-day.
4-day, but they play the grand final as a 5-day.
Oh, I see.
Just the grand final. So South Australia hadn't won it in 29 years, so 3 decades, and we got out our home, and we played Queensland, and that's the national
what we call it? Just
I'll
men's.
call it
yeah.
in the junior 40s.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the underage.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's sort of the feeder team to the
Australia.
national.
Yep.
So from there, it's Australia.
That's
national
Cricket
team.
Australia run. Cricket Australia, along with the states, the
Yeah.
delegates and the affiliates, which are the states, that's where you get your performance. So that's a big deal. So South Australia won that yesterday. That was a big deal for us and South Australia, and a long time coming. And then underneath that South Australian team, they're all affiliated to cricket clubs. Kensington,
Yeah. Okay.
Liddell, Adelaide, Sturge, West
Yeah.
Torrens, all these suburban
community-based cricket.
but premier cricket clubs. And there's 13 in the men and 7 or so in the women in premier cricket.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have exactly the same, just a little less numbers obviously in the women,
Yeah.
but we have 2 grades in the women and stuff. So, and my club won that too this year, the women. So,
And
I'm
you're the coach.
head coach of the women. So
Oh, nice.
we
How do you find time to do all that? What's
good question.
But you got a regular. You got a sort of a regular job.
Yeah, I run my own financial advice business. So myself and my sister run a practice. But it just means that you're busy.
And then you've got
Playing.
coaching. You're playing. You're coaching, and then you've got kids.
Kids, business, and then you go away for a couple of weeks to play. I've got a very understanding wife. You know, like most people that will listen to this go, yep, I need a partner or a wife that is very understanding, because cricket's not always.
Yeah, it's a whole day. It's
a
gone.
whole day.
It's a whole day. It's gone.
So you have to understand. But my wife is a very understanding. I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
My daughter and my son. They both play cricket. So my wife's totally outnumbered anyway. But we're a cricket household, and my daughter's in the national side for her pathways. My son's in the 15s. So we get it right. We understand what participating.
A little bit of a family situation, but I think they're fine. But yeah, so what are you expecting? What are you looking forward to
Yeah.
this next couple of weeks?
Yeah.
What are your expectations of your team? And
I think I always break these tournaments down into 2 sides. When I say 2 sides, off the grass and on the grass.
yeah,
Off the grass, these are great opportunities to do what we're doing. I love meeting.
up.
I caught up with Rudy,
yeah,
Mad, ex-Barbados, quick, telling me he's bowling 100 miles an hour and stuff like that. But you meet people, connection, camaraderie, socialisation's a very important part of this whole, I call it the ecosystem.
Yeah,
If we can, you put us on the field, we should be competitive beasts. We're still very competitive cricketers. But off the field, I like we're all staying together.
yeah,
This is a great opportunity to share stories, understand what it is over in life in the US, Canada,
yeah.
New Zealand, Australia. Come to our great country as well, experience. It's an opportunity for families to come.
It's a beautiful country.
Yeah. And so
Canada.
Really strong sides. Competitive cricket. And I think I like also, you can do a little bit of research, but a lot of these are sight unseen. You don't know a lot of these cricketers. You might know a little bit about their history, but you don't have a lens on all the cricketers.
No.
So it takes me back to when you first start and you're new, you just try and bat as well as you can and bowl as well
as you can.
Because it's not easy to know. Whereas when I was playing in top level cricket, you do your research, you've got your analysts and your analytics around the cricketers. You're familiar with cricketers. Like I know a few of the Aussies, we know how they play. You bring 3 different countries and you go, I think we know a little bit, but so it's always good fun that way. You're learning
As you go.
And as skipper, you got to learn pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So